Hi, it's Psychic Cynthia here, and welcome. Do you have a crazy maker in your life? Do you have a drama king or queen in your life? Do you have someone who is just constantly pushing up against your boundaries, maybe even invading your boundaries, draining your energy, asking for too many favors, just way too much, demanding too much from you? Um, I think that we all go through this at some point in our lives. We all have someone like this. And if you are in the midst of this right now, uh, you know that you need to set some boundaries. But I know that is harder to do and easier to say, right? Uh, so let's talk about this from the psychic perspective. What can you do when you have a crazy maker in your life who is generating chaos, pulling you in, entangling you, draining your energy, your resources, your bank account, your sanity? What can you do? Um, well, what you have to do to be able to set boundaries, first of all, and you need to set boundaries, and there's probably lots of videos about that from the psychological perspective, but let's look at this energetically. What you're going to need to do, first of all, is let me use this word, regain control of your own energy field. Because this is what crazy makers do. They come in and they destabilize the energies. And they create chaos. And they amplify chaos where there's already chaos. And by the way, they can't come into our fields unless we let them in. There was a crack in your field. There was a weakness, a vulnerability. And often that vulnerability is that you are a kind, loving person. And you're caring, or you care about them. It's because you're a big-hearted person. I get that. I'm the same way. I have the same issue. Okay? And it's beautiful to be a kind-hearted, caring person. But especially if you are a giver, if you are an open-hearted, big-hearted person, you really have to safeguard, watch over, and cherish and protect your energy field. And this is what we're talking about here with the boundaries, at least from the psychic perspective. So you have to regain control of your energy field, number one. And as part of that, well, there's really two things. First of all, you might need to take out the garbage, okay? And I'll talk more about what that means in a second, energetically. And you also need to refocus your energy. And sometimes just refocusing your energy is enough to initiate a process where the garbage in your aura will just sort of take care of itself. But I don't know, if you're really deep in the thralls of this, if you are really feeling like you're getting drained by somebody in your life, or there's a crazy maker, and maybe it's ongoing, maybe it's a family member or somebody you live with, and God help you if that's the case, because I know what that's like. And then you just have to do these practices more often, I guess, until you're able to be free from that situation. Like free as in not living with that person anymore, It does help to create some physical space. I just want to say that. So if you can do anything you can to avoid living with a crazy maker. Now, if you're already living with them, I know that doesn't help. Although it might help, maybe you can get out of there. Or get them out of there. Or maybe you can just take a trip or take a walk around the block. So yeah, maybe this is like tip number one, create some space physically. Typically, when we have a crazy maker in our lives, they will do everything. They are crazy makers, drama queens, drama kings. If they are psychic vampires, they will do everything to take over your life, to take over your energy, your attention, your time. So it's so important to have activities outside of the crazy maker. Even if that's just going to a class, or, typically there has to be some physical space. So, or maybe it's just taking time to go outside and watch your video on how you're going to reclaim your energy here. Perhaps that's enough. I don't know. Yeah, try to keep your relationships outside of the crazy maker. As hard as it is, sometimes please try to. Now, so there's tip number one. I didn't even really think I was going to talk about that, but yes, putting some space between you and the person who is pounding down your boundaries, sucking your energy, and creating change. And by the way, they may not be all bad people. You know, I'm not trying to say anything bad about your family members or, you know, people you love, but yeah, create some space. So that is tip number one. And even that's just to go outside, especially in nature, because the air, especially if there's a little wind or a little rain or just fresh air. Heck, if you can get out into the countryside, that is the best, but just outside, that will let your aura breathe. So that is tip number one, the beginning of reclaiming your energy from a crazy maker, from a psychic vampire, a boundary invader. All right, so let's take a deep breath in here. Yeah, taking many deep breaths frequently, often will help you also to get back in charge of your energy.